On September 28th, 2019, my husband Mark and we got some much needed good news. It even arrived a month early. It was this tiny, precious, perfect, most adorable little baby boy I had ever seen. Yeah, I'm a tiny bit partial because he's my first and only grandchild. Now, when I heard that his first name was Raphael and what it meant, God is healed, and that his middle name, Matthew, means gift from God, I thought this was a sign. Mark's cancer was active, and the doctor was trying one last treatment. But she warned us there was a real small percent that it'll be effective with Mark's type of cancer. But you see, Mark was already the 1% living with the type of cancer he had past the first year. Mark was in his 19th year. So when I heard the meaning of Raphael, I was so sure that it was a sign telling me that once again, Mark was going to be that 1%. Wasn't he? Not this time. And that's why I just couldn't understand 3 months later when the doctor told us it didn't work, and she stopped the treatment immediately. Now, our son and daughter-in-law and Raphael lived near Washington, D.C., and all Mark wanted to do with whatever time he had left was spend it with Raphael. That isn't too much to ask, is it? Well, it is if 3 months later, it's March 2020. Yeah, damn COVID. We were told we had to stay home. So you know what we did? We FaceTimed with a 6-month-old baby. Now, to get ready for those FaceTime calls, Mark would set up his iPad. Then he would line up these toy cars at the bottom of it. And as soon as our son called, Mark would push the button, and front and center in his baby seat was Raphael looking at us with his big blue eyes like this. But as soon as he saw his pap, he got all excited. He started kicking his little legs. His arms were all over the place. Because you see, it turned out he just wasn't the most adorable baby ever. He was also the smartest. Because you see, after the first 2 FaceTime calls, he already figured out what his pap was going to do. Pap was the simple name that Mark chose, hoping he'd hear Raphael say this. Now, what Mark did during those calls was he'd take one car at a time across the screen and he'd go, vroom, vroom, Raphael, vroom, vroom. Raphael loved it. He would laugh, he'd blow bubbles, he'd make all kinds of noises. But you see, my favorite part of those calls was watching Mark's face. Mark didn't blow any bubbles, but his face lit up. It was pure joy. Now, luckily, by June, the restrictions lifted and we could visit in person again. Mark was so thankful that he was still here in September because he got to see Raphael turn 1. He got to see him learn how to walk. The morning that Mark was going to be transported to the hospice center, our son, daughter-in-law, and Raphael were there. The nurse gave Mark his first strong dose of morphine, and he was pretty much out of it. Before the EMTs took Mark out to the transport, Ryan carried Raphael back into the room. I noticed he was tightly clutching a toy car in each little fist. Ryan leaned Raphael down, and he said, "Say goodbye to Pap." Raphael looked at his Pap, and then all of a sudden, this 18-month-old, all on his own, took the one toy car. He started to roll it up and down Mark's left arm, and he started saying, "Boom, boom, Pap, boom, boom." It was the first time that Raphael ever said Pap. I looked down at Mark, and the corners of his mouth went up in a smile. And then I understood. Mark wasn't going to be cured of his cancer, of course. But you see, Raphael was able to heal Mark in other ways. Because every time Mark got that good news that there was going to be a Raphael visit, or FaceTime, Mark got excited. It gave him something to look forward to. And after those visits, Mark always seemed to feel a little bit better. He had a little extra energy. He seemed more at peace. And now every time that little gift from God visits Nan, that's me. He calls me Nan. He gives me hugs. He leans down close, and with those long eyelashes of his right here on my cheek, he gives me what he calls butterfly kisses. Raphael makes me laugh. He gives me love. He gives me hope. He helps me to heal. Thank you.